speaker. Her name is Diane Marley. She's currently the co-chair of the Patient and Family Advisory Committee at Windsor Regional Hospital's Cancer Center, which is one of the most amazing cancer centers in the province, as well as a member of the PFAC for Windsor Regional Hospital. Maybe she can explain what that stands for. She also serves on the Patient Experience Task Force Committee for Windsor Regional Hospital. She's a survivor and she's a volunteer. And these groups are in place to enhance the patient experience for both the cancer center and the hospital. Please welcome, and I believe she's a member of the county. She lives out in the county somewhere. So, Diane Marley, we're so glad to have you here. Come and share your story.
It's the health and safety rule. Oh, it is such an honor to be here tonight. I don't think I could ever express how happy I am and how honored I am to be able to speak to you tonight on this very important occasion. I'm going to give you a little idea of all these things that they talked about that I sit on. I do sit on these committees now. I help make some decisions for patients. And I'll tell you how I got there, because it certainly wasn't anything I was expecting. In December of 2012, on my daughter Janine's birthday, unfortunately, December the 20th, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. It was invasive ductal carcinoma, very serious, very aggressive cancer, and it was also triple negative. So my doctor set into motion immediately for me to get care. And to be perfectly honest with you, at that time, I thought immediately, from what I had heard, meant I had months to wait. And that's just not the case. I only had days to wait until I was in surgery. Even though it was the Christmas holidays, I still was raced in to have the lump removed and to set me on the course to getting better and getting treatment. And I got to get into the cancer center after my time of healing and assigned to my oncologist, and there I was in the hospital system in Windsor. Never has happened to me before. I had maybe gone in for a test or two. I honestly didn't even know where the cancer center was, because I wasn't going to get cancer, so I don't need to know where it is. So I went into my treatment. I had, after my surgery, I was scheduled to have chemotherapy as well as radiation. And very short order, I was in treatment in the cancer center and receiving my chemotherapy, which is a startling, very emotional time, because you just don't know what to expect. You don't know how to deal with it. And there's one test and another test, and you're going here, and don't forget your blood work, and don't forget this. And it takes like an army of people to sort of help guide you through to this point that you're getting in order to get better. And I was receiving, and I was dealing with all the side effects and everything that came along with it. And I got to the end of the first set of medications, drugs that I was supposed to receive, and that was Easter weekend. And I went into Easter weekend. I was weak. That was kind of my down slope of my treatment. And I went into Easter weekend thinking, you know what, I'm beating the sand, I'm doing good. Everything's going forward. And we heard on the news, and some people started to contact us. There's talk out there that there's been underdosed chemotherapy, and it has to do with breast cancer patients. And, you know, you should have received a letter. So, and of course, I'm having my family run to the front door and check the mailbox. Nope, no letter. So, can't be me. Excellent. And I think my family kind of were pretty positive it wasn't me. And I sort of said, do you know what? I just have this feeling. It's just kind of creeping on me. I think this is me. And sure enough, I got a call from the hospital. yes, it was me. And I had received underdosed chemotherapy. And so my question was, what do I do? What do I do? Well, there really isn't anything we can do for you. It's dangerous. We couldn't do anything for you. So then all this uncertainty just flooded us as a family, as my core group of people that I'm telling you bombarded us with phone calls and texts and emails. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I still had the rest of my chemo to go. And at that time, I moved from the side of the chemotherapy suite where you sit to the part where you lay, because it gets a little more serious. You get a little bit more drug, and you have to be laying down. So I had all that to deal with. And I have to say, the care that I received was just amazing. It was amazing from start to finish. I would never, ever say anything otherwise, because I'm here. I'm here to say it was amazing. It was amazing. Thank you. Thank you. And because of the kindness and the compassion of David Mouche, who, along with his team, held town hall meetings and gave us the reason how this happened. How did this happen? What do we do? How do we go forward? And from that day, and I had to get up the courage to go in the following week and get more chemo, and without sort of being too forward, sort of glancing up at the bags and just saying, can you please maybe discuss with me how these get mixed and what are we doing? Just because I've got this little thing now. And of course the staff were just amazing. And it got me through to the end. And the problem that came with that sort of scenario was that, number one, all of us have to live with that feeling that I didn't get as much chemo as I was supposed to. But number two for me was there has to come change. Like, change has to happen. Somebody needs to go back to the source and make sure that this isn't going to happen to anyone else. And I think because I sort of brought that up at the time, and I followed through a little bit through some channels that I ended up making acquaintances through Toronto, etc., there was some action actually to these mixing facilities that were not being properly monitored, and now they are. So that was the first sort of advocate type thing that I was involved in. And so that just sort of tumbled into getting involved with the Patient and Family Advisory Committee. And that committee deals with making decisions for other patients and sort of helping along the way so that it makes whoever has to come up after me maybe a little bit easier. So through that, I attended some meetings about the new hospital and thinking that I kind of knew what was going to be said. We're going to talk about the building, we're going to talk about where it's going to go, how it's going to go up, what do the other new hospitals look like. But I attended one session when Mr. Ruben Devlin came to our area to speak. And he went into a little bit more detail about some of the new things that come with these new hospitals. And he got to safety. And he said there's so many safety things in place that really the buildings now just can't accommodate. And one of the things that he mentioned was that they engage robotic technology in the mixing of chemotherapy drugs. Wow. So, yes. So in my situation, had we had that, and for people that are following up behind me, even though there are so many safeties in place, it would just be that one other step. It would be that one other thing that would make it so that the safety and the fear that goes into a cancer patient getting these toxic drugs would just be so much less. And it hit me so intensely there because, I'm thinking of these other little things about what it's going to look like, and it's going to be new, and the way the garbage goes out and the way they take the laundry out. And I thought all this was cool until he mentioned that all of the safety features. And, that's paramount. And the staff are doing that so well. Every day, the safety of the patients is the top of their mind. And it's heartwarming. And it makes you know that as a patient, you're in the right place. And so I'm gonna skip forward a little bit and tell you this story because friends of mine asked me, my mother had to go into the hospital for a knee replacement surgery. And we had it all set up and everything's fine. Comes on the news that there's problems with the sterilization of equipment. And I think we all remember that, watching David's hands with the pieces of white paper, and I'm getting phone calls from my mom. What's happening with my surgery? Oh no, okay, you're over at the med site, your surgery's gonna go on, Mom, I'm gonna be there, everything's gonna be fine. And sure enough, surgery goes along wonderfully, staff perfect, everything just worked out great. Then she's in her room, I'm her caregiver, and I'm sitting at the foot of her bed. And the lady in the next bed beside her, same thing, same surgery, same day, same morning. So I'm sort of monitoring both ladies, and I'm thinking, this is great, there's only 2 beds in this room. We hit the jackpot because it could be 4, like you were speaking about. And I'm all excited about this, except for the fact that these people are expected to get up out of their bed and do physiotherapy, possibly that night. So whenever anyone asks me, how's your mom doing? Well, she's doing fine. I've become a furniture mover. Yes. I had no idea, but I'm a furniture mover. All of it, I'm not her caregiver. I am entrusted with moving all of the chairs out into the hallway, moving her tray table out moving her neighbor's tray table out into the hallway, because there's no way these physiotherapy people are getting in there, getting these people up out of their bed safely with their walkers and a chair to follow them. And physiotherapy is done in the hallway. And there's other stuff in the hallway, and and this is our once, right? This is our one experience. This is the staff's everyday experience. And yet they come in there, good morning, we're gonna get you up out of bed, we're gonna get you moving. And it was, she received the best of care. But honestly, the facility is just not equipped for these kinds of things because the requirements and technology is moving along. And I think I've said it before, and I know some of you heard of it when I say it, but wouldn't it just be heartbreaking if we had to not accept some of the things that are new and are coming out for our patients strictly because our building can't fit it, or we don't have enough electricity to run it? So honestly, I'm so for the fact that we need this new building. I'm so grateful that all of you are here tonight supporting this cause. And all I can say is 42 forward for all of us.